It is October 30th, 2011, and I'm here with Mrs. Lillian Wilson and her daughter, Bibi, and I'm just going to ask her a few questions. How are you today?
I'm doing fine, thank you. Much better since seeing you.
Oh, well, thank you. Tell me information like when you were born and where you were born.
I was born April 11th, 1921 in Sumter, South Carolina.
Okay. And did you
Yeah.
did you live there all of your life?
No, I lived there for maybe about 7 or 8 years old. My parents, my father was the first black undertaker in Bishopville, and he was with the funeral home in Sumter, and they didn't have a black one in Bishopville, so he moved there and opened up business in Bishopville,
Okay.
and that's when we moved to Bishopville from Sumter.
So how old were you when you moved to Bishopville?
I think I was about 7 or 8 years old.
Okay. And then how long did you live in Bishopville?
Well, I lived in Bishopville until, let me see, until I went to high school. At that time, they only had a high school that it didn't go any further than 10th grade.
Okay.
So I had to leave Bishopville to go to Sumter to Morris College to finish high school.
Okay.
And that's when I got away from Bishopville, and then after finishing high school there, I went on to college there and graduated from Morris College.
Okay, great. And then what did you do after graduation?
After graduation, I went to, my first job, which was a little town called Salta, South Carolina. And I stayed there. It was about 4 of us at that time. People walked to school.
Mm-hmm. So you were a teacher?
Yeah, I was a teacher. I finished a BA degree at Morris College.
Were you the first to graduate from college in your family?
Well, in a way I was. My sister went to college, and she went 2 years. She finished 2 years. During that time, you could finish 2 years and teach school.
Okay.
So she started teaching after that 2 years, but then they required them to go ahead on and finish college. So in that way, I was the first one to graduate from college.
Okay.
But she was the first one teaching.
Well, we have a lot in common.
Yeah?
Yeah, I taught school and I was the first to graduate. We had a lot of people in my family that went,
Oh, yeah?
but I was the first to actually graduate.
Is that right? Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now you're teaching. So how did you meet your husband?
Well, I moved from, like I said, a little town called Saltus, and I moved to St. Stephen, South Carolina. I taught 2 years there, I think 2 years. And then I moved to Lake City,
Okay.
from St. Stephen to Lake City. And my husband hadn't long come out of the Army, and he came to the schoolhouse one day. You know, the young fellas call themselves looking over the teachers and checking them out. So he taught with me a while, and someone told me he had already had somebody he knew at the school,
Okay.
and he taught with me a while, and that was it. And later he either came back to the school or came to the house. I don't remember how we got together then, but anyway, the first visit with me, it wasn't so comfortable, because they were just like the Army, and they were just wild, like,
Okay.
they just thought things supposed to happen just right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I remember telling him, well, if you have a car and it doesn't work to suit you, you change and get another.
That's pretty good.
So later on, as well, he came back and said, I decided to come and show you I can be just as nice to you as you are to me. So that's when we started going together and going out, and then we got married.
Did you have a big wedding?
No, we went to his cousin's house in Florence, South Carolina.
Okay.
Reverend Curry, J.W. Curry, and got married at the house. During that time, teachers, well, they could get married and, you know, and all that stuff, but they were a little reluctant about getting married and keeping your job and things like that.
Really?
Plus you get pregnant, probably.
Yeah, you
Okay.
get pregnant and things like that. They were reluctant.
So,
about
do you remember your wedding date? Like, what date did you get married?
that. I should remember it, but
Well, that's all right if you can't remember it.
because I was looking at my marriage license the other day, but I don't remember.
Okay.
But I'm not gonna guess. But
So you had 4 kids.
yeah,
Tell me their names.
Joseph Jr. was number 1. He was a little big head boy, and naturally, the first child, you all excited, and his daddy wanted to be named after him. And after that, I think in 1947, and in 1949, Z was born. Is that right? Z was born, and I'm trying to think. Donald was the next one. He was born in,
4 years.
I don't remember his, but yeah, 56 or 50 something.
Yeah.
And then Dolores, I think Dolores was born 56 or something like that. But anyway, I'm not sure about those dates,
Okay.
but I got them all written down in a book I got here.
Oh, yeah, you do a good job at documenting stuff.
Yeah, I got them in my, got the born when they were born and when most of them died in my book.
Okay, what do you want your great-great-great-grandkids to know about you?
I want them to know that I was a person that was just loved to help people, loved to be with people, and I want her to know that I told her once that she came from, I said, you should be smart because you come from good genes. So that's when she told me, I don't have on any jeans, I have on a skirt.
So was that Bree that told you that?
Yeah, that was
Okay.
Bree told me that. She had on a little skirt that day. She said, I don't have on any jeans, I have on a skirt. So she's just a smart little girl, and I wanted to grow up and be good and kind to people as I tried to be in my lifetime.
Okay, anything else you want to say? You did a great job, Miss Lillian.
Well, I don't, I guess I do better at answering questions maybe than just volunteering.
You did a great
saying
job.
it, But, yeah, I can't think of anything else right now.
Okay.
But we moved, you know, my husband, after he started preaching, he started preaching after we were married, and we lived in Lake City for 20-some years, and then he moved to another appointment, and then I moved to Bamberg and started teaching school there.
Okay.
And then we left Bamberg and went to, we stayed in Bamberg for 9 years, and then we went to Bennettsville and stayed there about 3 years. And we left Bennettsville and moved back to Lake City, but it was a church that he had never, he wasn't a member of that church, but he started preaching at that church in Lake City. It was a city church then. He was a member of a rural church. My husband was, and So they gave him an appointment at City Church, and that's where we moved into parsonage there in,
Okay. In Lake City?
in Lake City.
Okay.
Mm.
I have a couple more questions for you.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell me your parents' names?
My parents' name, my mother's name is Wilhelmina Richards, Wilhelmina Rebecca Richards,
Okay.
and my daddy's name was James McKinley Lewis.
Okay. What about your grandparents?
I don't know much about my I know them, but
Do you know their names?
seemed like one was Satara Lewis. My grandmother on my daddy's side,
Okay.
and my granddaddy on my daddy's side he was a minister. I don't know, he was Reverend something. Lewis.
Do you remember whether any of your ancestors were slaves? Like, were your grandparents slaves?
I was told that they were slaves. I was told that there was a man in Lake City that knew about I think about my husband's daddy coming up in slave in Charleston.
Mm-hmm.
But the man was telling him about it, and Joseph, my son, was interested in knowing all about it, but
Mm-hmm.
the man got sick and he died before he could give him that information.
Okay.
But they say, well, somebody was his grandfather or great-grandfather, something like that, was a slave.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, Miss Lillian, you did an awesome job. I'm going to let you see it now.
Well, I hope it can help some if it's worth anything.
Oh, it's definitely worth it.
Okay.